I am really proud of myself for learning how to clean my tube and getting the hang of my own tube care, because that's something I need to do. On our adventure.
Oh, you got freezing cold here.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm engaged. I'm just so happy about it. Today, I also was able to get out of bed and use the bathroom and get ready by myself. I had some pain with that, but still was able to do it myself, which is a huge victory, step in the right direction. And I'm also releasing my How to Get Answers When You're Chronically Ill video to the public today. My patrons got early access, and if you want to learn how to become a patron, check out the link to my Patreon page in the description, but now it is released to the public. You can find it in my chronic illness support playlist, and there's a link to that playlist in the description. I was sound asleep when the GI doctor came to see me this morning really early, and he said the tube looks great, it's working really well. He's so pleased that I'm tolerating the feeds, and today we're gonna raise it from 30 cc's an hour to 35 cc's an hour and hopefully reach 40 cc's an hour by tonight, which is my goal rate to get out of the hospital. He said though the pain I'm experiencing is unusual. I should be tolerating the tube a lot better now, pain-wise. And I told him I do have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which delays healing, so that could be why. And he said, okay, that could be why. He's not an EDS expert, but as long as I'm tolerating the feeds well and the tube site looks good and the tube is functioning properly, he's okay with me and my body taking as long as it needs to heal. Then my attending doctor came in, and this doctor I've been a patient of for about a year now. He knows me really well, and he knows about my complicated disorders like my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. He knows I have a really high pain tolerance. I mean, I have to deal with joint dislocations from my EDS. My hips sublux, my ribs dislocate, my neck vertebrae slip out of place. So I have a high pain tolerance, and so it's worrying to him that I'm still experiencing so much pain from my J-tube surgery when it should be more tolerable now. So he wants to do a CAT scan of the tube just to make sure everything's fine. And if everything is fine, then he's like, all right, it is just delayed healing from EDS, and I'll feel more comfortable discharging you to go home with some painkillers. I'm taking tramadol right now as needed. And since I can get in and out of bed now by myself, that's a great step for me to be able to go home safely. So as long as the CT scan is normal and we can get my rate up to my goal rate of 40 cc's an hour and my pain is manageable and I can continue to get in and out of bed by myself and care for myself, then maybe I can go home tomorrow. All right, they came to get me for my CT scan. I just need a mask if I'm going out in the hospital. Mine is my VOG mask, the reusable one is at home, I think, so I'm just gonna use one of the hospitals for now. Back from the CT scan, and having to get up and walk to the machine and then lay down flat, like there's a lot more ab work involved with that than getting up and just using the restroom. So I'm in quite a bit of pain from that, but the nurse gave me tramadol, so hopefully that'll help soon. And now we're having some issues with my tube. It's still working properly, but as you can see, we had to tape it up because the other two spouts, so this is the main one where the feed goes, but there's two more spouts for I don't know what reason, started leaking, and that's just really not okay. It's really annoying. So we had to tape up the other two spouts that were leaking, and it's just really big and bulky and getting caught on things, and when it gets caught on stuff and tugs, it hurts my incision site, and that could be another reason why I'm still having pain. Definitely not a main reason I'm still having pain, but the tube is just big and cumbersome. So I talked to the GI doctor about it again today, and he did confirm, like, yes, when your stoma, which is the opening in my abdomen, heals, we can look at switching it out for a button, which is low profile, it's close to my body, really small GJ. So there's going to be a G portion that goes to my stomach where I can vent out air to relieve nausea and vomiting, and then the J portion which goes to my jejunum for feeding. So it'll be so much nicer to have a smaller feeding tube, like port thing. So looking forward to that day. Just got to deal with the tube until my stomach heals. Oh well, I slept for a good few hours. Been pretty exhausted. And I'm a little disappointed. I thought I'd be going home tomorrow, but turns out I'll be going home Wednesday most likely, which is fine, just a day late for a few reasons. One, I'm only at 35 cc's an hour and I'll probably get to 40 cc's an hour tonight, but they want to see me at that rate for a full day before they let me go home, which makes sense, and they just want to make sure I'm tolerating it well. Two, it doesn't look like home health will be sorted out until Tuesday or Wednesday. I thought I'd be able to get a delivery done today or tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it'll be done by then. So home health is taking a little longer than I thought to sort out. And remember, we don't want a gap in my feeds, so we need home health sorted out before I can go home. And then three, my doctor thought that Judd would be home all day tomorrow to help me transition back home, but Judd actually has a 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. shift tomorrow, and they don't want me home alone for 12 hours when I first leave the hospital. So Judd is off Wednesday and Thursday, so they're just like, yeah, Wednesday is the best day for you to go home. So I agree with the doctors. It's just so excited to go home, but that's all right. They're just keeping my best interest, they have my best interest in mind. Well, we just put my speed from 35 to 40 about 5 minutes ago. I already got the cramping and some nausea, some pain with it, but I'm gonna give it like 30 minutes. Hopefully it dissipates. If not, then I'll call the nurse in and maybe I'll take some Zofran and another tramadol to help with the symptoms and get through it, or give my body more time to acclimate, or just go back down to 35. I don't know, we'll see what we choose to do. Well, I could not tolerate the 40 cc's an hour, so my nurse put it back down to 35. What we're planning to do is later tonight, I will take a tramadol for pain and maybe some Zofran for nausea, and then we'll up it back to 40. But I'm not going to take the medication, the tramadol, right now because it stifles my appetite and I haven't eaten at all today, and I want to try and eat at least a little something. So I'm going to order dinner in about an hour and see if I can at least have a few bites of some food, because it's encouraged that I continue eating orally as much as I can in addition to my tube feeds. I have to admit there are some frustrations today, unfortunately. I mean, I just got engaged yesterday, which is a huge blessing, and it was wonderful, but I want to be with my fiance, not in the hospital. I was excited to go home tomorrow, not Wednesday. I don't want to have a feeding tube, but I have one. I don't want my feeding tube to leak all over me, but it did. And, you know, just things can get frustrating, and I allow myself to get frustrated when I need to be. And then I stop and focus on the positives. Like, no, I don't want a feeding tube, but at least it's an option to help me fight my chronic illnesses. And I'm so thankful I have it now, because I'm already starting to feel the benefits from it. I want to be with my fiance, and although I can't right now, at least I'm in the hospital getting looked after. I may not be going home tomorrow, but at least I am still going home this week in time for my wedding on the 12th, and there's still positives happening, but like I said, frustrations do still happen, and that's okay too. I think the biggest thing is I'm just missing Harlow and Judd right now, and since getting engaged, I just want to be with them, happy and celebrating, but got to work through this hard time in the hospital first, but really close to going home, so that's awesome. I managed to have a few bites of some chicken tenders and mashed potatoes, which was good. Took a nap, woke up with some pain, took a tramadol, and then I noticed there's some drainage around my tube, so I'm about to clean it, and this will be the first time that I'm gonna clean it. Also, I'm gonna show y'all what my tube looks like now with a little bit of drainage, which is normal. Looks kind of gross, so stop watching or skip this part if you don't want to see it. So that's where it goes into my abdomen, and that black stuff is just a little bit of drainage, which is totally normal. And all I'm gonna do is take some gauze or a Q-tip and put it in sterile saline and just wipe around it, and that's all I have to do. Ta-da! I took care of my own tube. I am really proud of myself for learning how to clean my tube and getting the hang of my own tube care, because that's something I need to do. And when I go home, I'll have a home health nurse from my home health company show me how to use the tubing and the pump that I get for my feeds. The pump I'm going to be using is an infinity pump because it's the smaller option of what my home health company provides, and it'll be easier for me to carry around. And cleaning the tube wasn't really painful. It was a little tender, but the drainage is totally normal according to my GI. Some people use gauze around their tube. My GI said for me personally it's best to use no gauze and just let it air out, but in a few days I'll be able to use something called a tubie pad, which is this reusable pad that goes around the tube to absorb drainage and protect the skin from getting irritated. And I'm ordering some of those off of Etsy, so I'm really excited to use those when they come in and I'm able to use them. And yeah, just doing my best to learn as much as I can about how to care for my tube. Now I'm going to relax for a few hours until midnight, because that's when we're going to up my rate to 40 cc's again. Fingers crossed that I can tolerate it this time. It's just past midnight. My nurse woke me up so we could change out my tubing and hook me up to a new bag of formula or nutrition, Jaquie juice, whichever, and start me at 40 cc's an hour, 40 milliliters an hour. And we just did that. I am too exhausted to tell if it's making a difference to me symptom-wise. I'm really tired, so I'm gonna go back to sleep, and hopefully I'll just be able to sleep through it and it won't cause too much discomfort. I just want to say thank you for all of the congratulations and well wishes about Chad and I, our engagement. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, I'm happy to be learning more and more about my own tube care today. And thank you for coming on this adventure with us. We really appreciate it, because y'all are the reason we're able to spread awareness and do the things we do. So with that, I'll say goodnight one more time, and thank you for joining us on our adventure.